I'm hoping that while people come to sit down, that we can sing the first 4 lines of Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. It's Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Today will be a joyful day. You know it. Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. All right? Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Good morning, Monte Vista. And it's raining, yes. Warm. It's warm in here, yeah, that's. All right. So, my name is Carissa Moore. I am the treasurer of your Board of Trustees, and here are today's announcements. So, today we have a congregational meeting at noon. We're going to have a presentation from the Affordable Housing Task Force. We're going to have the mid-year budget review, and we've got 2 motions up for a vote. So, if you can please stay or stay on Zoom, please, we need your presence. Tomorrow is a fundraising meeting. See Murray Smith if you are interested in that. Tuesday, we have Taco Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Wednesday, we have an administrative team meeting. Next Saturday, February 1st. I know it's February already. How does that happen? We've got a work party. Starts at 8 a.m. until roughly noon. Maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later. I don't know. Depends how much work there is to be done. Also, all team coordinators will be trained on building access and the ADT alarm at 9 a.m. next Saturday. So please be here. Next Sunday, your attendance and participation is greatly appreciated at the fundraising Love and Laughter Lunch from noon to 1 p.m. and the first Sunday of the month going forward. This month's menu is spaghetti with fresh marinara sauce and Parmesan cheese, green salad, garlic bread, and cookies. There will also be gluten-free options. The suggested donation is $10 per adult, and kids 12 and under eat free. If you can, please bring your own plates and utensils to support our Green Sanctuary team's efforts for the environment and to defray costs and cleanup. Please RSVP to Lynn Maria Smith today, either by email or text. Her email is in the community connections that went out on Thursday, and we will have her phone number for texting later in the meeting this after service. We have a reminder from our bookkeeper. If you give a donation in the form of a check, please make the check out to MVUUC. We are not able to deposit or pass on checks made out to any other entity. If you want the money to go to another entity, such as one of our Share the Plate recipients, please indicate that on the memo line. And then finally, be on the lookout for announcements from DLRE coming soon. And now I will turn it over to our lay leader for today, Miss Karen Lane. Wow, thanks. Welcome to our poetry service. We sound the bowl 3 times. I'm holding, thank you. Once for those who first lived on this spot. For those living today in this building or not. And to those who'll come later to further the plot. That's my poem for today.
I'm lighting the chalice today in honor of Bruce Williams, an original proponent of the poetry service. There's a way. Let's sing Spirit of Life along with this video, which begins with the Spanish lyrics and continues into English. Read our covenant, which is written in the order of service. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. The search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to make choices for a healthier planet, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. And now Robert has a book to read for our children's focus.
Good morning, everybody. Since today's our poetry potluck, I decided I should read what was my favorite poem as a child, and that is The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, which, as an adult, I read differently than I did as a child. But this is by Shel Silverstein. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king in the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat her apples, and they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would fall asleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day, the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat my apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I only have leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city, and then you will have money, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. And she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house, and then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I'm too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you could sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk, and he made a boat, and he sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I am sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I am too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I am too tired to climb," said the boy. "I am sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. "Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. So come, boy, sit down and rest." And the boy did, and the tree was happy. The end. And now if the children can come up and get our cellos, we can go to our classroom. You guys can sing us out. If Jaryus can put the words on the screen.
I have books. If anybody decides during the service if they want to buy a poem, I mentioned it not earlier, but if you have
It's already that time in the service when we collect donations for the support of our own church and for the support of our Calapayan partner church's education support program. Donations that are not earmarked as pledges will be shared equally between both churches. And I think there's a video that should, it's coming. So there's not any music. I didn't attach the video, but please, the offering can now continue. Thank you. Not having Lily here sure reminds me how much I like having Lily here. Thank you very much. We offer in each service a moment to share both happy and less happy moments from the past week of living. Your moments can be shared by writing them down and leaving them in the jar on the shelf right back there. Or if you're joining us on Zoom, you can leave them in the chat and Jaryus will bring them to me. We have one for Pat, who is facing a tough week ahead, from Betsy. And I think there might be another one coming, so I'm going to wait just a sec.
I'm sorry I didn't have this written before I got here. I saw the announcement of Doris Warren's death emailed out this week. And she was a lovely woman who was born in Hawaii, I believe, and married Mr. Warren. I don't remember what his name was. I don't believe we met him. But she was a grand lady. She took care of folks who were struggling at the end of their lives here. And so she passed, and she lived at the Claremont Manor for the last, I think, 10 years. And she was deaf, basically. It was hard to talk with her at the end. But she once told all of us the story of her life in Hawaii. And the part that came back to me that I wanted to share with Karen and you today was that she was a child, or young woman, young child, teenager, I guess, during the opening salvo of World War I. And they were on their family farm somewhere in Hawaii. And they were doing their morning chores, and they saw the flight of the Japanese invasion into Pearl Harbor. She remembers seeing into the cabs or the cockpits of the airplane, and that she could see the faces of the pilots of several that passed by. And of course, she didn't know at the time what might be happening. But that and other wonderful stories came to us from Doris, and I grieve that she is gone and that she was in seclusion for 10 years and the rest of you didn't get to know her.
Thank you. Our prayer today is from the hymnal. It's called Bless Us with Peace. O source of peace, lead us to peace, a peace profound and true. Lead us to a healing, to mastery of all that drives us to war within ourselves and with others. May our deeds inscribe us in the book of life, and blessing, righteousness, and peace. O source of peace, bless us with peace. And we've made it to the time to share poetry. If it's okay with you, I'd like to start us off with a poem written by Jimmy Grissom in loving memory of Madeline Maddie Manning Scully. They asked me if she was strong, and I said yes. I said yes without hesitation, because I'd seen her pick her heavy heart up off the floor, even when it weighed a ton. Because I'd watched her claw her way back from rock bottom, even when it was a steep and treacherous climb. Because I'd seen her lift herself up and drag herself through life, even when she was tired and weary to her bones. Because I'd watched her persevere, persist, and press on, even when she was carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. And they told me I'd misunderstood. They meant, how strong was she physically? How much could she hold in her hands and carry in her arms? But it wasn't me who had misunderstood true strength. It was them. Because they hadn't realized that all too often, the heaviest things we hold and the biggest weights we carry are the things that can't be seen. Thanks. Jill, would you like to share a poem?
I had a hard time choosing, because I had a dad who spouted poetry
Thank you, Jill. Come on up.
In 1911, Maryland opened a state mental hospital at Crownsville near the state's capital of Annapolis. By state law, the hospital was segregated, only black patients, only white staff. As with all facilities segregated by Jim Crow laws, it was separate but never equal. Over its 92 years, Crownsville was routinely underfunded and understaffed. Left behind when the hospital closed in 2003 was a cemetery containing the remains of over 1,700 patients who had died during their hospital stay. The cemetery contained one final indignity. The graves did not display the names of the persons interred there, but only their patient numbers. A small dedicated group of researcher volunteers spent years at the Maryland State Archives matching up those numbers with the patient's name. Every year since, they gathered at the cemetery to proclaim the names of those behind the numbers. The ceremony begins with the following poem, written by Scotty Preston, a woman whose mother was a patient at Crownsville. Actually, Scotty sang this, but I'm not going to attempt that. Will they ever know that I was here? Will it ever show that I was here? There's a memory, if somewhat faint, and a history, it is and it ain't. There was a time above the ground when I had a past. Though it was here, we all knew it would never last. So I wonder if anyone will ever care that I was here. If you care enough to let it be known that a silenced past is ready to come home. Say my name loud, say my name clear, say my name. So all will know that I was here. Say my name loud, say my name clear, say my name. If it's really true that someone cares, then it's a jubilee. Feel it in the air. A day at a time, a century too. A day in the sun, we waited for you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a poem? Yep, and then.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out in this cold, rainy morning. This is a little bit of maybe a follow-up to Jill's poem. It's from my collection that a friend in my poetry workshop put together for me, and it's called Reflections from a Lived Life by Ellen Livingston. Finding home. Where do you feel at home? Not just a place of passing through, but a place where you fully belong. Some folks are not born in their true dwelling. They feel like strangers, outlanders in their family, in their neighborhoods. They search for the place where they feel deep down comfortable, mysteriously meshed, perhaps back to the terrain where ancestors were once forced out in times gone by. Then at last beckons the place they hungered for, where their souls can relax even in the midst of exotic landscapes, food, faces, language. And there they kick off their shoes, hunker down, and breathe. Home at last. And this is another one because I think a lot of you too love dictionaries. We're word people, idea people. And so this is called Dictionary Blues. Merriam and Webster are dead. Funk and Wagnall rest in peace on the landfill. The American Unabridged is a musty doorstop at some summer cottage. No more happy heft of a dictionary's A's to Z's. Delicately thin pages, small print, crammed with definitions, details of derivations, glorious, copious, delicious. Words, words, words. You need a word? You'll find it. Somewhere between aardvark and zizviva. Real word. Why dive into alphabet soup? Neither potable nor portable, when you'll find it pronto in your pocket or purse under G for Google. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Come on up.
Good morning. Is that loud enough to hear? Okay. Hard to judge when you're not here much at this point. I'm reminded of Bruce Williams also today, because Bruce would get up and he would say, "Okay, we want to hear your poetries, but no epics, please." You know. So I'm going to keep it to the point like Bruce recommended that we do. And this is a favorite book by Liesl Muller. It won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry, and I didn't double check to see what year it won that. But I bought this book, not because of the Pulitzer, but because I read this one poem. When I Amassed, it's called. When I amassed how I began writing poems, I talk about the indifference of nature. It was soon after my mother died, a brilliant June day, everything blooming. I sat on a gray stone bench in a lovingly planted garden, but the daylilies were as deaf as the ears of drunken sleepers, and the roses curved inwards. Nothing was black or broken, and not a leaf fell, and the sun blared endless commercials for summer holidays. And I sat on a gray stone bench, ringed with the ingenue faces of pink and white impatience, and placed my grief in the mouth of language, the only thing that would grieve with me. Come on.
I see you. Oh, she's coming first, and then but I see you. Thank you. Sorry.
Hi, everyone. I'm one of those people that do keep everything on my phone, including the books I read, the poems I read, my life. This poem has been on my phone I don't know how long because it resonated with me. It's called No One Ever Told Me. No one told me it would be like this, how growing older is another passage of discovery, and that aging is one grand transformation. And if some things become torn apart or even lost along the way, many other means show up to bring me closer to the center of my heart. No one ever told me if whatever wonder waits ahead is in another realm outside of time. But the amazement I found is that the discerning things within the here and now, that if I stumble and trip upon my way through, also lead me gracefully home. And no one told me that I would ever see earth so strong and fragile, the world so sad and beautiful. And I surely didn't know I'd have all this life yet in me, or such a fire inside my bones. And it came from Susan Fayworth's book, Looking to the Clearing.
Thank you. Would you like to come up?
This isn't very fancy, but I'm finding a little comfort in it, and it's something I found on Facebook, which isn't very fancy either. But I'm struggling with trying to find a way to think going forward in light of everything that's happening in America right now, and I found a little comfort in this. I don't know the name of it. It's just something a friend posted as a spiritual quote. Keep my anger from becoming meanness. Keep my sorrow from collapsing into self-pity. Keep my heart soft enough to keep breaking. Keep my anger turned towards justice, not, justice, not cruelty. Remind me that all of this, every bit of it, is for love. Keep me fiercely kind. Oh, and it was written by Laura Jean Truman.
Anybody else with a poem? Come on up, Carissa.
So I found this one on Facebook as well this week. It's by Ryan Michael, and it's called Elegy for a Broken Republic. Beneath the flag now torn and frayed, where freedom once stood unafraid, as shadow grows, its weight immense, the cost of greed our recompense. O liberty, once bright and vast, thy light is fading, dying fast. The halls of power, gilded, grim, now echo with corruption's hymn. An oligarch's hand writes thy law, while justice lies beneath thy claw. The people's voice, a ghostly cry, drowned by gold, no truth to buy. Hatred marches, bold and stark, feeding fires the demons hark. Where once we stood, a nation free, now we kneel to red tyranny. The founding dream, a fleeting spark, extinguished now, a world so dark. O bitter loss, this fatal blow, the death of hope from the fall we sow. And yet, beneath this heavy pall, a whisper stirs, a distant call. For ere the shadows grow too wide, resistance stirs, its flame to bide. Though grief may weigh and freedoms wane, might justice's soul at yea remain? For though power bends, it cannot break the will to fight for what's at stake. So I mourn the day, but hold thee close, that spark or flame in secret grows. May freedom's pulse yet beat through shame and kindle once more an ember's flame. And though this time is dark and grim, the future veiled in shadows dim, we walk a path with hearts unsure, yet still our hope does not demur. The road ahead, a winding trace, perhaps a fall or a darkened place, yet still we tread despite our fear, for in our hearts hope lingers near. The night is thick, the way unknown, a glimmer stirs, though barely shown. A flicker faint as dreams take flight, a spark that whispers through the night.
Thank you. Come on up.
Hello, can you all hear me? I was excited to see that it was the poetry potluck today because I remember this is one of the first services that I came to this congregation. And it caught me by surprise the last time, so I had to make a poem on the spot, but this time I brought a book. This is a poem by James Schuyler. It's one of my favorites, called A Photograph. A photograph shows you in a London room. Books, a painting, your smile, a silky tie, a suit, and more. It looks so like you, and I see it every day, here on my desk, which I don't you. Last Friday night was grand. We went out, we came back, we went wild. You slept, me too. The pup woke you, and you dressed and walked him. When you left, I was sleeping. When I woke, there was just time to make the train to a country dinner and talk about ecstasy, which I think comes in two sorts. That which you know, now I'm ecstatic, like my strange scream last Friday night. And another kind that you know only in retrospect. Why, that joy I felt and didn't think about when his feet were in my lap, or when I looked down and saw his slanty eyes shut, that too was ecstasy. Nor is there necessarily a downer from it. Do I believe in the perfectibility of man? Strangely enough, I've known unhappiness enough. I do. I mean it. I really do believe future generations can live without the intervals of anxious fear we know between our bouts and strolls of ecstasy. The struck ball finds the pocket. You smile some years back in London. I have known ecstasy and calm. Haven't you, too? Let's try to understand, my handsome friend who wears his nose awry.
Anybody else? There's been a tradition of closing the poetry potluck with a quote by Langston Hughes. Ever since Bruce Williams, a poet and a congregant, first started the poetry potluck more than 25 years ago. I almost missed it, but luckily Catherine clued me in. So here it is. Folks, I'm telling you, birthing is hard and dying is mean. So get yourself a little loving in between. And now let's sing our sending song, Blue Boat Home. All right. Here it comes. As we close our time together and extinguish our chalice flame, may we remember the magic of poetry and carry that magic with us in the days ahead.